simple code I'm writing here. Okay, so compile. So error means this one. Let's say this demo. Okay, if I try to save this class, it will throw an error because the platform will support certain uh, boards only. Okay, so number of characters is less than 80. No, sorry, not even 80. Only the 20 only. Okay, if I enter more words in, I mean the letters in this class name, the platform will gives an exception. Okay, that is a one type of, so sorry, not exception, error. Okay, when you are compiling, so means when you are saving this record, not here. Okay, let me show you this class. So if I write this demo test, if I try to save, I'm compiling. So when I say save means we're compiling this class against with our platform, you'll get the error. So this identifier is too long. Demo test exceptions. Now it's saved now, right? Let's take one example, public void update accounts. I'm passing the account record here. Okay, I'm trying to pass the account record here. Once I pass this account record here, I'm just updating the account record. When I say update A, it will just update the A. So the compilation time, it is saved. So now I'm on this one. Running in the sense you need to execute this from somewhere, whether a button, as I said, whether a button or a trigger or anywhere. Okay, now for your reference, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to execute this from the console. So this is not a static method, right? So since this is not a static method, what I have to do is I have to reference this. You know how to do these references, right? So now for this method, I have to pass what? This is a parameter I have to pass. What type of parameter I have to pass here? Type is account, right? Account type only single account. So if I want to pass this, I want to put some of the thing. So let's say first I want to get the account record from the database. So select ID, comma, name from account. I'm just putting a limit 1 for now. Okay. Here I'm just updating the name dot name with some letters. Let's say error test. Okay, and I'm passing the same account to here now. Update means for existing record you are trying to up, manipulate some of the values and updating the values by using this update method. So here if I'm trying to execute this class execute, why this exception is not coming. If you see here, right now, you get the exception here, the DML exception you received here. This is called the exception. When you are running your code, if you pass unwanted things on your runtime, then you will get the exceptions, right? So now you get the DML exception here. You are passing a name as more than 255 length onto this name field, so you'll get the exception here. So your process is being stopped and the user is getting the exception here. Am I correct? This is one type of exception. There might be one more exception is called, let's say, in account name equals to, I'm just passing the if I want to pass this, okay, so I'll route down the static method because I don't want to use this variable static. Fetch account string ACC name. Okay, if I pass the name, I need to get the account. Understood? What this method does, so for this one, if I pass the account name, I need to fetch all the accounts related to that name. Okay, list of accounts. Okay, not list of account, only one account name. Okay, this is a record equals to select ID comma name from account where name equals to SSC name. You you guys are able to understand these two methods. This method will fetch the account name where if I pass the account name, okay, and this method will update the account based on my inputs. Okay, so here the first thing is I'm going to use this. I can directly use this now because I'm dot fetch account, right? For this fetch account, what I have to do, I have to get the, I have to pass the name, correct? Test error account. I'm passing the and runtime. So this is on the runtime, correct? I'm passing the fetch account test error. If I execute this line, see what, oh sorry, I gave the execute all. Execute highlighted. So now you get the list has no rows for assignment to S object, which is called a query exception. So if you pass the positive values and negative values on runtime, you'll get the exception. If you pass your flow into the negative values, so that's where you might accept get some of the exceptions. So that is where, in this place we might get some of the exception, and we know this place we might get some of the exceptions. So in this case, what we have to do is we have to put the block where we are expecting an error. So in this DML statement, we might get some errors. So here we want to catch the exception. As I said, you don't know what type of exception it is. You can use the exception as a class. That's Salesforce. Whatever you are using, these are the class. Okay, exception class. So this exception is a class. It will holds everything. Okay, this is an inbuilt. This is an inbuilt keyword. So this is what I gave you on the day, right? So here, if you don't know what type of exception, you can directly use this exception E. E is the, this is a class and reference of this class is E. Okay, and here you can do whatever you want to do. So just throw an error message saying to the user. Let's say that system dot debug, saying that error while account update. Please contact your admin is my message. Correct. And if I want to know what is the message type and everything, I can print the e dot get message. As I said, the exception will have is a class. This exception will have a methods also. Okay. So you will have the methods. Come on. It went. Yeah. Fields, DML exception, all this. So if we are handling the DML things, we have all these methods. Get DML ID, get DML message, get DML method. Like that, we have get message is the method name. Okay. So you will get message and get line number and everything into this class. So you can use accordingly which message you wanna display to the end user. So if I do here something like this, when there is an update failed, you in your catch block, you will catch that error and then you will notify to your administrator or your business user saying that when you are updating your account, we got some error and this is the error message, so that your admin can able to understand what is happening. Correct. Sometimes there might be a things called rollback. Rollback in the sense, when you do some transaction in your method and you want to roll back, if there is any exception happen, if you want to roll back, that is called the rollback mechanism. So that rollback mechanism we can do it in our catch blocks. So that's why this is very important to have the exceptions. Okay, understood. If I use the same statement over here, right, and catch, so here what I can say is no account found, is use different name to search. If I pass these things, if I try to execute these things, right, if I execute now, you won't get any of the executions on your runtime, right? So you are handling your runtime exception by using the try and catch. So now when you are running the piece of code, there is nothing was happened, right? But when something happen, however you want to doing a handling of mechanism is different. So you are handling in such a way that you are showing the error message, you are printing the error message to the user, right? So here what I'm saying is, no account found, please use the different name to search. Another one is, while account update, please contact your admin, please update the update failed, right? So too long, this one message. So we are not stopping our process. Yes. Hello. So when you are writing your code, that is when you are saving, that is called a compilation, right? If I write down the, instead of if I miss the e, if I try to save this one, this is a compilation error. Okay, at line number 5. So what I have to do is, I have to say the proper wordings. Once you do that, this class might be executed, as I said earlier. This might be triggered from, executed from anonymous window, or from another class, or from a LWC, or a VF pages, or buttons, right? So it's all depends on the where, from where this is executing. From where executing, in the sense, that is called the runtime. So we are running this entire class. So at that point of time, in a runtime, you will get the exceptions. So to handle these runtime exceptions, you have the try and catch. In your try, you can put the block where you are expecting some of the, you might expect this some of the errors. Okay, for that for that particular block, you can put the try, and you can put the exception type over the catch. In the catch, you can have the exception, and you can do whatever you want to do your logic over here. In this one, if I don't want to update account, so instead I want to throw an error, I'll put this one, right? So this is how we will handle those things. Okay, so slowly you could understand, I mean, some more details when we are working on the asynchronous process and LWC also. Okay, so for now, let's see asynchronous processes, right? So as yesterday we were discussing about asynchronous process. So this is a synchronous process, right? Because we are just triggered here, and it was executed immediately, and we can see the logs also, it was created immediately, and your log will be created immediately over here. So this is called, this entire transaction, when I starting to ending was happening in the same transaction, correct? This is my anonymous window, and this is my class and method, and until the end of this one, it will have everything, correct? That is called this synchronous process. So now a asynchronous process, as we discussed yesterday, a piece of code or piece of things will be put into the asynchronous process, which is called executed in a separate thread. So whenever there is a resource available, the salesforce will execute that, and whatever the result, that will be uh, completed the logic into the asynchronous process. It won't wait for anything. Whenever there is a time and the resources available from the salesforce side, that will be executed. Okay, if you have any dependency, the asynchronous process will not be work out. Also, if we want to handle the bulk thing, bulk amount of data, if we want to process the bulk amount of data, at that point of time also we will use the asynchronous process, because asynchronous process will gives the uh, some more extra limitations as compared to the synchronous process. Example, SOQL. Okay, in synchronous it will be only 100, right? But whereas in asynchronous, it will be 200. number of rows, right? In synchronous it will be only that 10,000, but whereas in asynchronous it will be 10 million. Okay, so you see the difference now, right? So that's why we have a few of the limitations also will be grown up in the asynchronous process. If we are dealing with a large amount of data and large things required, we'll go with the asynchronous process. So the asynchronous processes are, as we discussed yesterday, future, the queuable, batch, and schedule. These are the different types of asynchronous processes are available in the Salesforce. Okay, types. So first, let's discuss about the batch one, because these two things we can discuss later, but these two things are very important, and most of the times we will use these things. So first, discuss about the batch. What is mean by batch class or batch? So batch is something, if we want to deal with a large amount of data in our system and automate the process asynchronously, is called the batch. Okay, so the best example is that, as I said earlier, if we want to trigger a salary on every month of end of the month, which is a working day, then in our batch class we have to pull all the employees data and we have to process whatever the salary is. So that is called the batch. In our batch class we'll write it down all the logic. Okay, handles the large set of data to be processed. Large amount of data will be processed with the batch class. So the batch is having a, this is the one type of class. In this class it will be implement the one interface called database dot batchable. So we talk about the interfaces last time, right? So because the Salesforce will works on the oops uh, uh, um, oops side, so it will support the interfaces also. The Salesforce inbuilt will give this predefined interfaces like exception and sorry, not the exceptions. So the database dot batchable and database dot stateful. So those are the some of the examples over here. Okay, database dot stateful. First, we'll talk about the what is mean by database dot batchable and database dot stateful. Okay, the very first thing is batchable. So when we use this interface, we must, as we know that if we implement any of these interfaces, we have to use these interfaces method into our class, right? So the syntax is public class. Let's say my class name is demo batch class implement. So here we are implementing the database dot batchable is my interface. Am I correct? If we are using the this interface in the Salesforce, this batchable interface will contains three methods. One is start method, execute method, finish method. Okay, so we have to use these three methods because we are using the this database dot batchable. So if we use this interface, the system will understand that this is a batch class. If you implement this interface, your system will understand this class is a batch class, and it will give the special accessibilities to this class. Okay, this interface will contain the start method, execute method, and finish method. Okay, in the start method, it will get all the required data or records for any objects. Understood, guys? So if I want to deal with employee, first it will pull all the employees. In my organization, I have a 1 lakh employees. It will pull all the 1 lakh employees here. Okay. So if you retrieve more than 10,000 rows in a normal class, it will throw an exception, right? Number of records is only that 10,000 rows. We can get it. But whereas in the batch class, you can get that 10 million records. So in your start method only. So that is also only in the start method only. Okay. In the start method, you'll get all the required information. So for this one, it will use the database dot get query locator. Okay. This is the databases related. This is a database is a class in the Salesforce. It will have all the operations like database dot the batchable database dot the query locator methods and everything. Also we have the database dot insert, database dot update also. Okay, so in this case we are getting the database dot get query locator. If you use this database dot query locator, so this this will fetch more up to the 10 million records. Okay, and this start method will execute only once. This method execute only once. Runs or execute. Okay, executes or run only one time. Only one time. When you run this batch class, your start method will execute only once. In the very only once time, it will fetch all the required data from you using the database that get query locator. Okay, here it will have the scope. This execute method will have the scope in the sense how many records. Yes. Oh, sorry sir, I think this is for the 50. Yeah, 50,000 records, right? Yeah. Thank you for correcting me. So in this scope, right, we'll pass the scope. So this scope would be anything. Let's say here I'm fetching only the let's example. Okay, I'm giving the example over here. Start method. Okay, or else I'll give here. So here fetched let's say 10,000 records. Okay, okay, and passing the scope as only 200. Maximum scope is 2,000. Okay, max is 2,000. Minimum is 1. Okay, so default is 200. If you don't pass anything, it will take the 200 as a default number of records. And if you can set the maximum of 2000 and the minimum is only one record, the scope will be work based on these things. Let's say if your start method is returning 10,000 records and you are putting the scope as a 200, so now your execute method will execute 10,000 divided by 200, which is 50 times. Sorry, the 500 times, right? It will run the execute the 50 times. So your start method will execute only once, but your execute method will be execute for the next 50 times, because your scope is only the 200. 200 the number of record is the 10,000. So 10,000 divided by 200 is 50 times. Your execute method will execute for the 50 times. Okay, you have to remember this. Execute method will execute based on the scope and based on the number of records which is returned by the start method. Okay, so this execute method will execute the logic here. Logic, whatever you have a logic in your execute method, you can execute here. In the finish method, this also execute only once. Okay, only once. Start and finish will execute only once in a life, I mean entire transaction, but execute method will run based on the number of records which is written by the start method and what is the scope of the this thing. Understood, guys? Up to here. So when you are using when you are implementing the database that batchable, you must use these three methods. Okay, if you don't use any of these three methods, because of this is an interface, it will give you an error message. Okay, let's see how the salesforce will react now. So let's take one example here. Okay, send one day before notification birthday mm, mm, messages to the employees. Okay, when I say this, send one day before the birthday messages are number of years worked, so which is the work anniversaries, right? Work anniversary. So your work anniversary are the at the birthdays. If we want to send out an email to the employees, how you can do this one? So you might say that the flows are any of the time based the rules, right? Time based flows or time based triggers, anything. But that does not work out, because those flows, workflows, process builders, or triggers will be triggered only if there is some action happen on the particular record, right? But here we want to see the entire employee records from the database, and we have to check the birthdays and we have to send out the notification. So you want to work on the history of the data, correct? Not on the every time triggering the data. Understood, guys? Sending an email notification on a birthday or the work anniversary will happen sometime, right? Let's say my birthday is on, let's say, February 1st. Okay, I want to send a notification to me on 31st of John, saying that happy birthday, right? Or if I'm completing the number of years, okay, number of years is turned to 1 3 5. If it matches to one, sorry, anything 1 2 3 4 5, right? Any year. So my number of years. So how the number of years will be calculated? Joining date minus today, right? Joining date minus today by 365 days. It will give you the number of years. Am I correct? If the number of years is 1 2 3 4 5, so whenever the date is joined, okay. So at that point of time also we have to trigger an email. So these are the system related things, correct? Based on the current dates, the system dates, it has to pull all the records and it has to check each and every record, and it has to send a notification. Understood, guys? So that's where we have only one option called the batch. So there is no other option to do such operations in the Salesforce. We have to go to the batch. So let's create a one batch class here. So create Apex class. So what I'm going to give you is demo. Sorry, okay, not demo. Employee notifications batch. Okay. So if you have some of the plugins, it will automatically get these details. Okay. So here I'm using this. Okay. Okay. If you add some of the plugins here to create the some of the code, right? Batch class and anything that will automatically gives all the syntaxes like this. Okay. I didn't have that handy here, so that's why I'm already having in my local copy. So here I'm using the class employee notification batch class, implementing the database dot batchable, right, as an interface. This interface will contains, as I said, start, execute, and the finish method. So let's see here. So now I want to query all the employees records here, right? So select ID. So here I want to get the this one, employee record fields. It's a date of birth. Okay, date of birth from employee. So first I'm fetching all the employee records by using the ID comma date of birth. Okay. So in this execute method, what it get is employee. This is employee object. So scope I'm not put. I mean, let me talk about the scope later. So employee equals to list of, yes. Else I can directly use it. I don't want to keep it here. So scope, as I said earlier, the scope, right? Whatever the scope I am passing to this scope, scope will contain the S object of scope, and the scope will contain the number of records. If I pass the two or one, so that many times it will execute. So let's assume that if I pass the 200 in my execution time, not on my, I mean, on the runtime, not on the compile time. Okay. So for now, what I have to do now, I'm fetching all the employee records into it. Am I correct? Or in a simple words, what I can do is I can just cut it down, or I can make it a list of here, list of employees, list of employee records of list of employee, because it's a type of S object. If you know exactly what is the, if you're not, if you won't pass this as subject, if you pass the employee, you no need to use of these things. This is called conversion. Okay, if you no need to use the conversion, if you use the list of employee itself here. Okay, let's go with a simple thing here. Okay, I don't want to confuse you guys here first. moment. So here I know that this starting the start will return only the employee record. So I have the employee records and fetch this one. Now I need to search the conditions. Employee dot date of birth equals to system dot excuse me system dot today. Thank you. Which means if any employee date of birth is matched with the today's date of birth, let's say we want to send on the same day at this time, so it is matching. What I can do is list employees matched birthdays birthdays. So I'm tracking everything. So I'm just passing this one dot add of employee record over here, right? So if my employee date of birth is matched with this with the current date, so I'm putting that records over here. Once my loop is done, now what I can do in this one is I'll send out a email notification to these people in Salesforce. How do you send email notifications? If it is a configuration, you will have the email alerts. Am I correct? Something called we have the email alerts. The email alerts will work only if they workflows like flows, process builder, and the workflows. Now we are sending the emails to the batch or a class, right? So for this one, we will have a separate class called email messaging. Email services. I don't know why this is not coming to here. So we have some other class called the email messages. Okay. So this is a messaging dot single email is a service. In this messaging dot single email services, if we want to send out any email, we will use this messaging messaging class. From this messaging we will have the single email message, so we can use this messaging tools. So here I want to pass the list of employees, right? And I want to pass the email template. So why I need the email template here? As we know that for every email content we will have the email template. If I know what is that email template name, I can pass to this one. Okay. So in other words, if you confuse with these things, what I can simply do is I'll put over here. So there is something called email template object, right? If we created any of the email templates for our birthday notifications, we'll get those things. So email templates, did we create any of the birthday email templates for employee? I think no, right? If we want, we can create a new email template. So let's say birthday notifications, happy birthday. So we are getting it from the employee object, correct? employee fields. Dear employee name. So here it's a break. We wish you very happy. We wish you many more happy returns of the day. So if we have any of the his the default I mean his pics and all, we can pull it and then we can show it up here, right? Thanks. HOT. So next, copy the same. Okay, save. So if I use this one in my class, so if I want to use this email template in my class, so this email template is a object name, correct? So to query this one, I need to have the email template is a object. So this email template ID, select ID from email template where the developer name is. So I'll put the hard coded here. Okay. Birthday notifications is my email template name. Once I get the email template name, so I have to pass the list of employee email IDs in this one, right? So here, instead of this thing, what I'll do is matching string. Sorry, we want to fetch all the matched birthday's birthday emails. Okay. So now we want to fetch all the matched birthday emails into it, and the employee dot email underscore c. In our object, we will have the employee, right? We need to send to the employee email ID only, right? So this email ID will be exist in our employee record. So this is our employee email. So in our circle also, we have to use the employee. Whatever the fields you are using in your execute method, that field must be queried from your socle. Otherwise, you will get the field is not used in your socle error. Okay. So in this one, I'm using the email. So if the matching email will be present over here, and here the target object ID is what? Here my target object ID is employee, correct? Let me tell you this. Okay, I'm going to do this, or instead of doing many iterations, even I don't want this one. The simple thing what I can do is, first I'll get the email templates and simply I'll get this. I don't want to loop again and again. Okay, messaging that email message. Okay, in this employee, I'm looping the scope. If the birthday is matched with the today's date, I'm adding to the email messaging services. So this is email message, and set template ID is what? So here we have the template ID over here, right? So this is my template ID, and the target object ID. This email message will have the, as I said, this is a class and it has a some sort of methods. These are the properties. In this one, it will have the set email template ID, set the target object ID. So the target object ID see in this one is employee. Okay, employee.id, and the set activity is true. If I set true, it will create a task. Okay. Also, you have mail that set. If you see here, the two address, right? Set two addresses. So here the two addresses is what? Employee.email. So now for each and every loop you are getting all your messages, and you are adding all messages to this list of message. Okay, once you are done with all your thing, now you have to send this message, messaging dot send. What you have to do is you have to send this all messages to the message class. uh, this one. So if all message dot size is greater than 0, so which means if something was matched over here, then I have to messaging dot send message. So messaging dot send message is the method. When you use this send method, by default you want to pass all the email messages. So here I'm using the all messages and false. Now what happens is, if the employees will get all the employees and it will check the birth date equals to today, then that will be track the email messaging with all the template id and everything, and the email id, and it will just send out an email to this. Okay, by using the email messaging. Understood, guys? I can. So now I'm just deploying this one. Set to address. New list of string from my email. So the set to addresses is accepting only the list. So we have to use this. So now it is done, right? So you have done your batch class. If you want to schedule this batch class, you have to write down one more class called the schedulable class. So this schedulable class will have the one more thing called the schedulable interface. Okay. So the schedulable thing we can see later. First, we'll see how this will work now. Okay. Now you have written your batch class. Now how you can execute this batch class, right? So you can execute this batch class using the database dot execute of your batch class name. So here the batch class name is this, right? New batch class, comma. Here you can set the scope as I said. The scope is 10. Simple thing. Database dot execute batchable. So here you can see that. Come on. Database dot execute batch. So this is the one which we have to use. Database dot execute batch of new, the class name, comma scope. If you execute this one here, okay, let me show this one. I'm clearing all the logs here. So all the logs completed here. You can monitor this batch jobs. First, you can monitor your batch jobs using the jobs here, Apex jobs. Okay. So in this one, we have this the completed. So now I'm going to execute this our batch class. execute highlighted. If you see executed highlight, I'll show you the logs so that you can able to understand here. Come on, see here, the serial batch range chunk was created. So let's see in this one also. You can monitor those things in your Apex jobs. How many jobs are running in our Salesforce system? It will show you here. See here at that 11:42 a.m. batch class was executed and status was completed, and total batches was one, and the process was one, and that there is no failure, and the class name is this. Correct? So which means only one batch. So one batch in the sense what? We put this size as 10. So that's the reason it is taking, I think in our system we don't have much records. Let's see how many records are there here. Select count of ID from, what is the object name? Employee, right? Only seven records are there. So only seven. So that's the reason it is processed by all at once. Okay. So if we want to see which record was matched and all, we don't have anything. So that there is no emails has been sent because there is nothing was matched with the current date, right? The birth date. Understood, guys? If the birth date is matched with these things, it will fetch it. So we have written one more wrong thing here is we want to check only the day and month only, right? Not with the system date. So what we have to do is date dot today, and see if our birthday is February 1st, 1988. So which means the system date is not 1998, right? So we have to check only the Feb 1. So which means month and date, right? Dot month. Also system dot today dot get month. Understood, guys? We want to check only the day and month. What is the date and month? Correct? We should not check entire date. And let's match with any one of these things. Okay. So this is run successfully. To test it out, what I can do is select ID, comma, date of birth, comma, email from employee. Let's execute here. So what I'm trying to do is here is, let's say 12/8. I have this. Okay, my mail ID is here. Month is 2nd and date is 8th. So, and also I'll do the same thing for this record also. So save records. Email address. Please enter valid email address. Is something was putting into this validations. I don't know. Where are you, date of birth? So I'm putting February 8th. Please enter a valid phone number, valid email ID. I think some validations has been put into place. I'm going to inactive these two things. I don't know what the logic inside it. So now it's saved now, right? If we execute the batch now, what it has to take is it has to send out an email to these two people. Okay, let's see whether it is working it or not. So now, okay, instead of putting this 10, okay, let's take that as a pattern. Execute highlighted. So the batch is done. Attempt to dereference null object was occurred. Line number 2. Okay, understand. So some of the things is null, right? So it should not be null. So I have to check one more condition called employee date of birth is not equals to null. So that's why it is getting the this is the null pointer exception, right? This is happening on the runtime, so we are not catching up it. So if we want to catch it up, what I have to do now is try. So in these messages I have to keep this entire logic in my try block. Okay, and in this catch block, system.debug error while sending emails, e.get message. So if you write in such a way that if you are handling the exceptions, it won't get any of the exceptions over here. And okay, come on, where are you? Token 225 exception E. Come on. Okay, so now I'm going to run this again. Execute highlighted. So let's see now. So still the batch is not executed yet. So if we want to see how many batches are executed, we can just check the monitoring over here, batch jobs. So here, right, this is a previous time attempt 20 representation was happened. Now this is processed and this is executed. So we might receive the emails, so we have to check these things. So let me see this record. So in the related list, I'm just checking why the email is not triggered. Okay, so if it is matches here, why it's completed? Job is completed. Oh, sorry. This is .com. And the one should. So, did you receive your email, Divanshu? Okay, okay. Yeah. So, let me run it again because I missed my email ID. So that's the reason I didn't receive the email. Let me check this one again. So the batch was completed and then it was processed. Come on, blocks also not coming over here. Okay, I think something is happening. I don't know. It has to be triggered an email. Still, it didn't happen. But the concept you understood, right? Hello. So deliverability. You understood the concept, right? What the batch and then how it will be executed. So here I said only this thing. So if I don't want to send out an email, if I want to just give some message, if it is matched, if I want to give this some notes onto this employee record itself, let's say we don't have any description field over here, right? If we have the description field, what we could do is we can send out a we can update the notes also. So to show you that exactly. Okay, understood, guys. So the thing is you have to use the batchable interface from this one start method and execute method. In this execute method, based on your scope only, it will execute. So if I put, since I put the scope as 10, that is executing only one time. If I put the scope as only one, so let's see now. You can see the seven batches now. See here, right? One, two, three, four, five. See how many are there? A lot of records are there, right? Jobs. So as I said earlier, the start method will fetch this seven records and scope is also seven, only one, right? So it will run seven times. So the execute method will execute this seven times here. So this execute method process you can see over here with the this one, the serial batch thing. So here also you can see the serial thing. So if the matching is happens, so that the template ID is coming, and the employee record is this, and date of birth is this 16. Oh, okay, this is 16. So since it is not matched, it won't take you to the email body, right? So this record is not matched, and the next record it will go and search it. This is for the next record. In this record it's a 28. It should be matched. Demo test. developer name message. This is the 11. Email common swap visitor email. See here, this email is coming over here. Employee record is null. See here, all messages are going out and the template ID is this and the message is sending out here, but I don't know why this message is not showing properly over here. Okay, but in real time you can get all the data. So here also you can put all messages. In the debug, let me put all the messages. Is a one debug log. The other debug log is matching if the date of birth is matched. Birthday matched. So I'm putting the some of the debug logs to see which record is getting passed. Okay, and also I want to see the message of the each and everything. If it is matched over here, I want to see what is the email. So here it will show you all the message, email message also. Birthday matched email. Come on. Okay. Before I go here, let me close all these things and clear all the logs. Okay. Execute now highlighted. So whether it is executed or not, let me see here. So this is executed without any failures, right? Everything was executed over here. But let's see. The logs are still not loaded here. I just wanted to show you the this email content. Okay, if not, we can see that later also. But that will gives you the if it is matches the date, right? Date with the system data today and month. Then what it does is it will go and send out an email to this email ID. Okay, understood, guys? Yeah. If you want this class, I'll give you this class. Okay, along with these notes. Any other questions?